Hi, welcome to Morning Mindset Cafe. I'm Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know, www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Morning Mindset Cafe, where we gather each morning to discuss things about leadership, success, growing, being better, personal development, those sort of things. The purpose of the show is to get our thinking on the right track so we are prepared for what the day may bring us. We are prepared to handle ourselves as we want to and as we need to so that we can have a successful day. Can you guess what today's topic is? Preparation is key to success. How have you prepared? And honestly, I believe the statement applies to all things that we do. Am I prepared to succeed in what I'm about to do next? An example is getting on this program, I was stuck. I was stuck in cyberspace. The platform wouldn't allow me to come on. Others could see the what we call the radio waves, the wah-wah, that my ID image was just stuck in cyberspace. This had happened many times before, so I was prepared. I asked somebody in the room to grab a seat so that I could do a few things and then refresh, come back, and it works. So that's a little thing. And yet, it has an impact on my mindset. It has an impact on the rest of my day. It has an impact on whether or not this program is going to be successful this morning. So a question to you. How have you prepared? I think another way that we can be prepared is decide ahead of time how we will respond or react to a situation. What I mean by that is if we're struggling with challenges, and for me, it's with other people. Not always. Not always. Sometimes it's with a skill set. Sometimes it is with a place. But honestly, for me, where most of my challenges lie is with working with or communicating with other people. And the challenge is always me because I'm not the best when it comes to communicating with other people. And a lot of settings will derail me. All right. And a lot of situations will derail me. But as I've learned new communication skills, I've learned from other people how to do things. For instance, is how to have chit chat and small talk. That took many years of practice for me, trust me. But how to deal with somebody who's very aggressive, not assertive, but aggressive. How to deal with somebody who is very reactive. I mean, this goes beyond emoting. This is demonstrative, unequivocal, uncontrolled emotion response to things, just general. Drama king, drama queen. How to respond when asked to do something that I'm very uncomfortable with doing. So something as simple as, and this is something that I teach a lot of people that have come across my path and are sent to me. Most of you know I work with broken, wounded people over a period of time. And one of the things that we have to learn how to do is to walk out in the world and participate in the world. And most of the women I work with don't know how to say no. Literally don't know how to say no. They are they've been beaten into submission, put it that way. So one of the exercises we go through and practicing is to prepare for the next time you're asked to do something and you just simply say no. You visualize it. You practice it. You maybe in role play. And it's awkward as heck the first couple of times you do it. but you prepare yourself. So you make a decision ahead of time of how you will respond or react. So anybody interested in talking about preparation is key to success? How have you prepared? And if you have questions, you can continue to ask them in the side as it can be is money success. If that's how you view success, then it is to you. Success is my definition. It's very personal. Success is your definition. Success is Angie's definition. All right. So what's your net worth? None of your business. Anybody like to jump in and have a topic discussion? Gail, who tried to have a, Angie will be on in 5 minutes. Oh, poor Gail got derailed on a program and crashed and burned. That's fun. Yeah, that's always interesting when that happens, isn't it?
Hey.
There she is. How are you, Gail?
I'm good. How are you? I'm sorry about my stuff in the back. I usually put my crazy screen
It doesn't look bad, just so you know.
Okay.
It doesn't look bad. Well, the first question I have is,
can I take care of this?
Absolutely. I just tried to. So please do.
Okay. I have to figure out how to do it.
Hold on.
Done.
All righty. Good girl.
Thank you.
So, those things, we keep our mindset moving forward. Anything that derails us or gets us off track, somebody needs to pull us back. Sometimes it's you, and sometimes it's me, sometimes it's you.
And I could do that for you just now, but I couldn't do that for myself on Tuesday.
So you were prepared, right?
I was prepared.
To respond. And I think that's the difference. We're prepared to respond, and then when we're not prepared, it's a reaction.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally. Recorded the whole 9 yards.
Recorded and everything. That's fun.
Yeah, the Tuesday thing, I really, it just ended up being a mess. I didn't have time to prep, which sounds awful to say I didn't have time. I know everybody says that. And I probably could have found 5 minutes in the middle of everything. But she's like my best friend. She's like my sister, but she's actually my cousin. Okay. She's in Phoenix. I'm here in Pittsburgh. And she's agreed to get on and co-host with me. Well, she has never been on Blab before, and so it was like her first. The second time, Tuesday was her second time of her being on Blab.
I'm already seeing what the problem is. Okay.
I know this, but she's only going to learn through practicing.
Correct.
And when she loosens up, we're really good together. And so I'm just sort of like, we're going through the growing pains. And since I'm flying under the radar, I don't have any regulars yet.
Oh, okay, good. We're good. I'm with you. You're right. Right. It doesn't feel as bad to crash and burn at what you're talking about.
Right. So, but anyways, it's pretty much a train wreck. I had a plan, like I had my stuff I was going to do, and then as soon as my links went down and the whole thing went down, I spent the next 10 minutes trying to figure out what I was going to do.
I understand. Now, see, and I don't call that a crash and burn. I call that where I call it lack of preparation.
Yeah.
But can you really be prepared for everything?
No.
And I don't know that you can until you've experienced some things and then say, oh, okay, that's not going to happen again. I mean, really, it's whether it's here on doing a live show, whether it's in person, whether it's part of a project, being a team member, whatever the situation, family, whatever it is, buying a house, buying a car. Well, that's not going to happen again. Well, how do you make it not happen again? You prepare for it. You look through it and you say, what could I have done differently?
Right.
And make the decision. It's the way I look at it. I make the decision that not only will I do differently, this is what I will do instead. And it's like prepping myself for when that time comes. So that I don't have to think about it, especially if it's something big. I don't have to think about it much. I've already made the decision. This is how I'm going to react. For instance, rudeness is not allowed in this room. I'm the one that determines what rudeness is.
Right.
So because I'm the one in control. I can boot you out. But also, now honestly, so that's the first decision I had made. The second one is that when audience members in the comment section are pointing somebody out that I'm not seeing, they now take precedence. And I've already made that decision. When somebody in the comment section is drawing my attention to somebody else, get rid of them. There's a reason for it.
Right.
And I look and I do it as quickly as I can because, again, there's rules to being at my table. That's what I look at this as. This is my dining room table or
Absolutely.
the coffee shop table, and you're here having a cup of coffee with me, and there are some rules of the house. Of course. You're on the East Coast. It's cold there.
It is cold there. We have some snow. It snowed all day yesterday. But it's also I have to get my kids ready for school. So I'll stay on until
another couple minutes.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what his name would be. Or Angie. Until Angie comes on.
Fabulous.
She said she'd be on in 5 minutes.
Well, anybody else is welcome to join me and Gail in here. Let's talk about how have you prepared. So as was said earlier, success is very personal. It is your definition of what success looks like. So be it an instance, such as my hosting this room, one of the rules here is that rudeness is not allowed. I determine what's rude, the basics. And then another way to look at success is, and it was questioned earlier, is money success. Could very well be. I'm going to tend to look at it more along the lines of a particular dollar amount associated with a revenue stream for my business. I'm going to get a little more specific instead of just money, because guess what? This will happen. The minute I say, I just want money, somebody's going to give me $1 and I better be happy with it. Right?
Yes.
It's called be careful what you ask for.
Right.
It really is. That's why you want to be specific about it. $1 are not going to go very far anymore. It might get me a cup of coffee at the old-fashioned diner it's a really small cup and it's black, right?
It would probably still get you a coffee where I live. I say I live in Pittsburgh. I actually live an hour north of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And the cost of living is really low.
Yeah,
and
it is here too. I can get a 50-cent cup of coffee here.
I'm not sure we can get a 50-cent cup of coffee. You might be able to on a special day. But I was actually going to say measurements of success. I took a class in college. It was it's called information measurement theory.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I think is it's a really neat way of looking at things, like recognizing that there are people approach things differently. So there's A people, B people, and like C people. And when you're looking at how you structure human resource wise where they are in the business, it's clearly identifiable when you look at who's where, who the A people are, the B people are, and the C people are. And not that the C people are less than or different than the A people. They just function in a work environment differently. And being able to identify those traits helps figure out where they should be in the company. So then looking at your success, how do you measure that success, and having clearly defined measurements. So I think even as definitely as entrepreneurs, looking at it as how at the outset defining how you look at success. And so for me, monetarily right now, I'm still working on that part of my success part, but my impact, I'm having success in that area. Impact in how people are connecting with me, the things I'm generating in them, even though that hasn't turned into the dollars that I want yet. I know it's coming as long as I keep working it. But having that And I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite because because I didn't define my success at the outset, right? And I think when you're doing your business plan, it should be a part of everyone's business plan, even if it's something you don't turn in to a bank, to have it for you, like under your goals. Say, these are my goals. Here's how I'm going to measure my success in those goals.
What does it look like? Absolutely. That's if you're going to run a business, you need to know what the business looks like, what the purpose of the business is. And if you look at it this way, is the business fulfilling its purpose? And the first thing, if you're going to call yourself a business, is you need to be making money.
Right.
Otherwise, you got a hobby.
Right.
It is that simple. So if you're going to call it a business, is it making money? And if it's making money, then is it successful in providing the service or product that it was set up to do? And how do you measure that? Well, you measure that by clients, customers, transactions made, and money. That's bare basic stuff. But it's important. You are so right. It is important to know what it looks like because, like I say, if we just say, I just want money, I'll give you $1 and you're going to be happy because you got it, right?
Right. That's money.
That's money. That's money. So that's another way to do it is, as you said, is to tackle it with, start with the end in mind, and then you know what to prepare for.
And you know what your problems are. And looking at, instead of, I heard someone say this, and I do it all the time when I think about how much I'm going to charge a client or what I'm going to bid a job at. It's okay, how much do I need to like meet my expenses and like my cost of living?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we price ourselves. And maybe that's not how you price yourself because you know more than I do. But it's taken me some time to figure it out. And I was like,
okay, well, you start someplace.
Past that. Sorry.
You start someplace. And then, then as you begin to understand the industry better that you're in and your competition and your marketplace, you price according to what the market can bear.
Right.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. But yes, there's different formulas. There's ways to begin. It depends on our product services combination. But what always throws people is the last one. What my hourly rate is, and I don't have one. I don't work by the hour.
No.
Yeah,
exchanging hours for dollars is not a good business plan.
Yeah, I'm talking to the wrong person. If you're asking me, what do you charge about? What do you think I do?
Right.
I mean, and oftentimes that's what the conversation is. But You see, I'm prepared for that. I'm prepared for that because I decided when the business started how the pricing structure would work, and in the beginning, when people would ask me that and it felt awkward because I wasn't quite sure how to answer it, I realized after some time and experiencing it, they're not understanding what I actually do.
Right.
So that leads into the conversation because then I have to ask the right questions. But the only way to know that is to prepare myself for it, to say, well, these are what people are asking.
Right.
This isn't really what they want to know. How do I ask the questions to find out what they really want to know and so they understand what it is they really want to know? And actually what it boils down to is, I need this done. How much is it going to cost me? Most people that lead with the hourly rate are used to working with freelancers and working with one-off small projects and things like that. And their budget says, so many hours, this is how much it's going to cost. And it doesn't have to be like that, as evidenced by you and me.
And it shouldn't be that way.
No, it can be that way. Honestly, it can be that way. No, if I'm a freelancer, oh, sure. There's plenty of reasons why you would have an hourly rate.
Right.
Laborers, try costing out or estimating a construction job without, budgeting man hours. That's literally time and materials.
Yeah, I know.
It's man hours plus materials, and then you add the percentage above for management. And you have to know a number of men on the job, how many hours per. So hourly is important, but also that's why people think that way.
Right. So that's what my degree is in, actually.
Uh-oh.
Construction management.
You're not charging by the hour, are you?
I'm trying to get away from it. I'm not charging by the hour anymore. I was for a long time.
Again, that would it would make sense if that's your background. Right. That would make sense that you would walk into it with that.
Yep. It's taken
it literally would it makes sense. So until you get into until you get into action, you can't be prepared for everything.
Right.
You know, I mean, when I set up my business, essentially, beginning, I didn't know how to set up a business for a single owner. So trust me, my processes were convoluted and multi-layered and headachy. The processes of just onboarding a customer was insane when I look back now. Yeah, it took me a year or so. And then I refined, and then I started talking with other people and refined some more and refined some more. I mean, it's classic. I had the full-blown Quicken accounting system with assignment of numbers to types of projects. Yes, I did. Today I have a spreadsheet.
That's awesome.
My spreadsheet's awesome. Yeah. So you think you're now. So, but that's how I knew it wasn't a success, is because I thought I was prepared.
Right.
And it didn't work. That's how I could measure it was I'm wasting too much time. I'm really getting headaches over this crap.
Right.
This is not working. The frustration level is beyond incredible. It's not working. It's not working. Clues, right? Red flags. It's not working for me. So,
right, red fire engine.
What does success look like? It works for me. I don't have the headaches.
No migraines. If we don't have any migraines, we're succeeding.
Exactly. So that's how I see it and how it all ties together. So anybody wants to jump in and talk about their own experience of preparing to be successful in something, and then
you don't talk.
And then we have number 4 over there. Brian, if you ask for something, are you prepared for the answer? There is another.
All right.
Good morning, Nathan.
Megan wants to say hello.
Hi, sweetie.
Say hello. Oh, dear.
Did you see my comment in the sidebar there?
Okay.
FTA person has arrived.
Charlene, I got to put my kids on the bus.
Sorry about my lighting here. Let me see if I can.
You're welcome.
Down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not used to you being in those type of shadows.
Sir, you're not used to me being what?
In that type of shadows. That's much better. Yeah. It's still not complete though. It's
No, it's not. It's hold on a second. I just
not horrible.
This light. Oh, wait a second. Hold on a second.
Gail. Well, thank you, Gail. The breeze is nice.
That's really. Oh, I think I know why. One of these lights are both fluorescent.
Oh yeah.
And I was using them both last night, and I didn't see this intense of a shadow.
Yeah.
I think it's because one of them is still warming up, and fluorescents take a while to do that. And once they warm up, then they get brighter. I can see the shadow starting to dissipate. I mean, I'm still dealing with shadows.
Well, the shadows aren't bad. No, the shadow I was talking about with the shadowed face, like me, I'm seeing that this side of my face doesn't have quite as much light.
Yeah,
of course you can join us.
It's a challenge with this setup, and what makes it even more challenging is that I just moved about a week ago.
Okay.
Yes. I've been a part of a Facebook group called Rich Mind, Rich Life, and it's you buy the program and so on. And we've been talking about manifesting. Well, about 10 days ago, some friends of mine, they told me they're going on holiday, and I thought, okay, no problem. See you when you get back. And then a little while later, they said to me, oh, by the way, would you like to house sit? And I knew where they lived, and where I'm living right now, which in a place called Baja Mar, which is 20 kilometers north of Ensenada. It's on a golf course. It's a huge gated community, enormous. And I'm in this beautiful house, Mexican style, of course, because I'm in Mexico. It's just fabulous. So I said yes, knowing that I'd only be able to stay for 2 weeks and have to move. And then last night they wrote to me and informed me that they were extending their trip and said, oh, would you be willing to stay until early April?
Well, what a nice surprise.
Yeah, geez, that was a really difficult question to answer.
You were prepared with a yes, weren't you?
Yeah, immediately, if not sooner.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, you were talking about getting started for business. Well,
oh yeah, that was a way to how do you prepare to have a successful business? Well, was essentially what we were talking about.
Okay, I've got a really good strategy for you, because I was being interviewed last night and that came up. And one of the best strategies that I know of, which I've been using, is you find somebody who's successful, who's doing what it is that you want to do, and you model them. In other words, you copy their actions, you copy what they do. And even better, if you're able to get an audience with a person like that and talk to them and say, what did you do to become successful in this way? So, to backtrack a little bit, to do with what I've been doing, my process, which is about showing people how to end their suffering. When I was talking, I interviewed a guy by the name of Rick Schnabel from Life Beyond Limits out of Australia. I just realized I have serious bed hair and I didn't look in the mirror. Anyway, such as it is. Anyway, and he was telling me that I really needed to up my game and I needed to get my own show and everything else. And he told me that one of the things I needed to do is set up an active YouTube channel and start interviewing celebrities. And so I started putting that into place. And then a while later, I was on Blab about a week ago. And I noticed that one of my colleagues, a guy by the name of Tim Gillette, was on. And I know that Tim has a radio show and he's got millions of listeners. And I didn't think about that when I saw him. I thought, oh, Tim's on it. And he was doing this tech talk, And so I jumped on in the open seat and gave some advice about mobile technology and what you should do and blah, blah, blah. And then it suddenly dawned on me who I was sitting with. And I said to him, Tim, I'd like to know about how to get myself set up so I can get my own show. I'm looking for a television show and this and that. I said, would you be able to give me some guidance? And he said, sure. Send a direct message on Twitter. So I did. He called me the next morning. We spoke. He told me a whole bunch of stuff that I needed to do. And then he told me, once you're going and you've got some things in place, I might be able to tweet out a few things about what you're doing on my show. And so that's what you need.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
that's how you're preparing for the success, is you're going to somebody who's already done it.
Yep.
And following their guidance. Welcome, Angie.
Good morning.
Good morning. So I'm going to tell you something that I noticed today when you came on and on the video that I saw on YouTube. And it's technical. It's your microphone. There's a lot of air coming through, like white noise.
No, I thought I heard something.
So it's your setup. Whatever, and I have no idea how to fix that, but just wanted you to know, because I know that as you move forward, you want the best quality audio.
So it was an audio problem, right?
It is audio.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go shopping.
Okay.
At being prepared.
There you go. Because you haven't really started the whole program yet, so that's one way.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know my content is going to be fine. It's all the mechanics behind it that I don't want it to affect what I'm going to be doing, right? But Nathan said something, and I hope that's your proper name.
Yeah.
Is that your real name?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Last time I checked. You can do that but you might not get a response.
Well, something that you said about, emulating another person that in the business that you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, that could be kind of hard to do when you're the only one in it.
It's actually not that hard.
Right?
It's not that hard.
Well, no, obviously not for me, but I'm just thinking in general. Like, once you know what it is that you like to do and you want to go ahead and do it, I don't think I would want somebody on the outside or even, a small mentor, but not necessarily an exact example. Because if I can't find that, then you got to look towards yourself, right?
No. Don't even think about selling yourself short on that one. That's
See, Say that again?
I said, don't even think about selling yourself short on that one. That's an excuse, okay? You can find anybody to help you. You can find tons of people to help you.
No. I'm saying in my industry, in what I do as a business, I can find lots of little minions. I have no doubt with that, right? But it's not, when I started, like I've done 3 businesses. So when I've done this 3rd one, which is what I'm currently doing, it is a little foreign. So when I went out researching, nobody was doing what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So in some ways, I kind of got, I got exclusivity, but I also like got foreign territory. And then you're running around like a chicken with no head.
Well, then the simple solution to your problem is you find a related industry to what you're doing. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. And then ask the people who are doing well in that industry what they're doing. I mean, what I'm doing is something that I've never done before either. And I'm learning. But the thing that I know from direct past experience, that if I want to be successful in anything, that I find someone who's doing what I want to do, and I model them, I copy them, I interview them. In the case of Tim Dredd,
let me put this out here, Nathan. We could also look at it as that while I don't want a national syndicated radio program, I do want to be a quality host that utilizes audio and communicates a message clearly, succinctly, pleasantly, that people want to come back for. So I can go to a successful radio host to learn that and transfer over here.
Absolutely.
I can model how they work, how they do things. So I don't know that it's specific to an actual business model. I think that we can also utilize a mastermind group to prepare ourselves to succeed. And then the mastermind group, we have multiple personalities, perspectives, backgrounds, expertise, knowledge, that the combination can put things together for me, and they have. That's how my group works, is I come to them and say, here's the issue, here's the problem I want help with, here's what, help me, this is what I want to focus on today. And their combined efforts then meld together into something that actually works for me.
Well,
so I think that's an excellent way to prepare as well.
You can scale what you're doing just because, like, the information that I got is particular to me. My goal is a very high one. It's not something that a lot of people choose to do. And actually, when I started working on this, I didn't realize that that's the direction I was going in until one of the people I interviewed actually said to me, "You need to do this." And he told me, and it came out of nowhere. I wasn't even looking for it. I didn't even actually ask for it, but he said to me, "What you're doing is too important to be in this place. You must go international. You have to really get this out there." And it didn't take me very long to grow into the idea, like about 3 seconds, really. But then, but then again, I was ready for it, and I'm very comfortable on camera, and I don't have any problem with it. And so, the idea of being in a studio that's broadcasting to, say, millions of people, that doesn't really faze me, because I'm just in a studio. I'm not actually in front of several million people. But even if I was in front of an audience, a while ago, something in my life happened. I met this spiritual teacher down in Ensenada, where I've been living, and he invited me to teach his class. And I remember looking at him, and I thought, "Oh, you're just saying that, right?" And I didn't take him seriously at all. And then a few days later, I went to his group, and he introduced me to his class. And after a few minutes of this, he said to me, "I want you to teach now." And I just looked at him and I thought, "You're kidding, right?" And I did say something to that effect. I said, "No, I'm serious." So I wound up teaching his class without notes, without preparation, and being put on the spot. And I discovered afterwards that I wasn't nervous, that I didn't have any problem. There was no issue with material or anything else. And And that's when I realized that a major change had happened inside me, and I didn't even know that it had happened.
Right.
And since then, it's been easy.
So what you've just described is where opportunity met with preparation. Even when you didn't have that specific opportunity in mind as what you were preparing for, but because of the other work you had done, when an opportunity presented itself that you fit, you say, sure, I can do that. Oh, isn't that interesting? I wouldn't have thought I could do that well. Okay. But along the way, right?
He did put me on the spot, though. It's not like I'm not, but it was actually, it surprised me that it was actually as easy as it was. And I was thinking that part of the reason that it was so easy is because I've been in that field studying as a student for like over 20 years.
Exactly. That's what I mean by that preparation, right? It doesn't have to look like internal strife and struggle. It's what kind of education did you need? What kind of skills do you have? What is it that you're going to need in order to be successful? And I love Brian's question where he's saying, wouldn't seeing failure in any industry or business be another way of learning?
Absolutely.
Of course it is. And it's even better when it's related to my being able to say, I really don't want to do that. I don't want that to happen to me because it is in my industry. It is what I'm doing, and it is what I'm moving forward with. There are some that it's kind of nice to see. But again, I go to manufacturing and in the tech side, that really doesn't do much for me. But when it talks about processes, and the sales process and the customer process and onboarding and retaining and things like that in any industry, cross over, absolutely. Building, management. How often have we seen businesses fail in the first 5 years? Hello. And quite honestly, I can tell you what the primary reason is because they don't know how to handle their finances. Brand new business owners don't know how to handle finances.
That's a really good point.
Really?
That's a killer for pretty much every business I've come across, and some of my research indicates that they go into business and they say 2 years into the business, they look at the checkbook to see if they have any money in the bank.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's their indicator that we're doing well. I've got 10 grand in the checking account. Let's go. We're doing well.
What's interesting about that is that I wound up watching an interview with Anthony Robbins a little while ago, and this was just on a personal level in terms of your money, and I really want to get my pandas on his book. So I'm probably
the money game?
Because of what's happened here. Like I was thinking about having to leave in 7 days, this house and then all of a sudden that's been completely removed, and I'm not going to be leaving for at least a month, if not longer.
So you have a little time.
What's that? Yeah, I have a
little time.
So one of the things I'm probably going to do is do a day trip up to San Diego just to do some stuff. And I want to get a copy of Tony Robbins' book about mastering the money game. He was talking about setting up a system for saving that runs on automatic. And once you set it up, it just automatically deducts 10%. But as I get my income increasing, I want to do more than that. I'd like to emulate or model this late guy by the name of Sir John Templeton, who became like a multi-millionaire, billionaire, whatever it was in his time. But what he did with his income, and once mine gets to a certain level, I intend to do the same thing, is to take 50% of it and put it into savings. And once you get it to a certain level where your basic needs are met and a little bit more than that, or maybe a good bit more than that, then you can sock the rest away. And so I'm very interested in learning that because I know I need to learn it. I know I need to do it.
And that's how you do it. You're preparing for when you have the money come in.
Yeah.
You're preparing. And one of the things that I consult with brand new businesses, in the first year or so, the first thing I go in, especially if it's a solo business owner, is I have to understand that you understand you're running a business. How important is it to you that the business succeeds? And the first thing I ask about are the numbers, and they don't know them. I said, then you're not in business. And they get all whacked out. Well, yes, I am. I have this set up, this set up. So what's your budget for marketing? what's your budget for, you should have, and when I walk through it, something as simple and basic as when we say that 20% minimum should be assigned to marketing and advertising, what that means is that every revenue piece that comes in, every check you receive, every PayPal deposit, every payment that's made to you, bam, 20% goes into the marketing account.
That's useful.
They've never heard about that. I said, set up, and so what I'll often do is I'll tell them, set up multiple accounts so that literally when the money comes in, you transfer that percentage over. Right. And that way, you know, the money came in, it's recorded against the invoice, it's recorded, right? But then you have your marketing budgets there. You don't spend it as it comes in. But again, they're not prepared for that. I wasn't prepared. I was over-prepared. But I found people that had similar business models as I had, doing similar things. And those are the ones that I went to over that year and said, how are you doing this? What the heck? What tools are you using? Why? And none of them was as extensive and as layered as mine were. And that's when I realized I was bringing corporate to my very small solo business, and I didn't need to. I was I wasn't even over prepared. I was overcomplicating it.
It's actually good to know. I mean, because a big part of what's been going on is I've been reinventing myself in a major way. And for many years, my living has been freelance writing, and now because of what I'm doing, it has to be a much bigger thing. And it rather surprised me when people, the feedback I got is, no, you need to go global. You need to, well, I mean, that was my intention anyway. But they were saying to me, you need to get your own show on network TV. You need to be working with celebrities, doing this and that. And it just has surprised the hell out of me because I was going in that direction without realizing it. And when this one guy sat down with me, who, as it turns out, is a celebrity in Australia, and he said to me, this is what you need to do, and you're ready for it, and I know you can do this, and he's just been gently nudging me in that direction. And so there are all these preparation things that I've been doing. So this is actually a really good thing that I've popped into this morning.
Well, I'm so glad you did, Nathan. Angie, share with us.
Will you? Too. I mean, that's the other side of it.
Thanks.
I was up in the early morning. Well, it's early morning for me. Like, I woke up at 4:30 this morning. I've been waking up early a lot these days. And I thought, geez, I wonder if Charlene is on. If she's on, I got to check her out. And here you are.
Thank you, Nathan. Always glad to have you here.
Good to see you.
Morning sounds scary.
Oh, listen to you, Angie. You can do it if you had to.
Yeah. No, part of the thing that I wanted to just share with you is that I think you were part of the conversation the other day when we were talking about business plans and how important they are. Are they important, and how to actually use them? Well, I do use my business plan kind of as a preparation for whatever I intend to do down the road. So I am thankful I did do that because it also helped me do like a little timeline. You know, because in my business plan, I said, okay, the first year, I want to try and do this. I don't go into detail of how to do that in my business plan. I just say, you know, year 1, workshop. Year 2, seminars. Year 3, I don't know yet, but I'm not looking at my business plan.
Right.
And my memory does suck, okay?
That's why we write it down.
Yeah, and that's why I have a computer, right? So, I mean, it's all there, nice, safely stored away. It won't get lost. But, yes, I'm noticing that I'm taking those steps. And as I go, I look back on the previous step just to see whether what I was doing during that time, was it effective? Did it actually help me get to where I am now? Or, you know, in some cases, I actually thought in a previous business that I just jumped because I got bored. So I said, okay, I'll do year 2 now, even though it might be like 4 months into year 1, right? Without any afterthought. So from that, I learned, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. You know,
I was hoping you were going to say that because usually that's a crash and burn time.
Yeah, you know, and I caught myself. You know, I really didn't have any other person or group that I could have asked, say, hey, you know, I only have my own intuition. Mm-hmm. Yes, I've gone to college, I took business courses, so I knew all about the money part. I don't like taxes, but I do all the other stuff.
Haven't met a person yet who does.
I know, it's just too convoluted. It's like, forget it. Mm-hmm. So I go to somebody else who does do it. You know, so I know where I can go to get what I need. And so the other thing that I do as part of my preparation is practice. And the best example I can think of is this new venturing section or goal that I'm doing now, which is with Blab. I want to be a little more comfortable in being a host. So I've been recently just bumping into other people, you know, getting on their Blab, getting comfortable with the idea that that thing in front of me is staring at me, you know, and that other people can see me staring at it or looking over there or over here, you know, and I'm getting my feelers out, right? And now with your help, I noticed that my audio might not always be perfect.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm going to let it know that the first few episodes are going to be rough.
I have a tip for you about the audio if you want it.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, two things. I use a microphone, and it's on what they call a boom stand, so it's not on my...
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
I understand, because I'm also a ham.
Okay.
You know what a ham is, don't you?
No, I don't.
An amateur radio operator?
Oh, ham radio operator. Okay.
It's been years since we've heard that one, hasn't it, Nathan?
Yeah, no kidding.
I know.
I mean, that's like... I'm tempted to say ancient technology, but I know of other people.
It is. 30s, 40s?
Yeah.
You had your amateur ham radio? Yes.
Anyway, so getting back to my point, so I've got a microphone on a boom stand, and part of the reason for that is that it like a number of the other people that I know who do this internet stuff, they have microphones and they have them on a shock mount on the table. But having it on a boom stand and on the floor eliminates that problem, so I don't have any shock problems. The other thing I want to show you is my microphone, because I've had a lot of really positive feedback on this microphone, and it's one of the best that you could get for what you're doing. So I'm just going to pull it off my stand and show it to you.
Is that the ATR?
This is called an iRig. IRIG is the iRig mic, MIC HD. And it costs maybe about $120, $130. It is a directional microphone, meaning that it doesn't pick up background noise. Yeah, exactly. Yep. iRig Mic HD. I've had a lot of comments about it on all the blabs, or a lot of the blabs I've been doing, and people keep telling me that I've got this fabulous sound. It comes from that. And there's some, and if you're on a Mac or a PC, if you're on a PC, there's some software you need to install to get it working. But once you do, that's it. And so,
is that a USB port?
Yes, it's a USB. Okay. And another really cool feature about the iRig microphone, this particular one, is you can plug it into an Android or iPhone and do recordings on your device as well.
Really? Wow.
Yep. Software comes for it. I've got it on my Android, so you can do that too.
Do you think I could probably even maybe put that on my iPad, knowing that I have the converter to a USB port?
Yeah, I'm just...
Hear anything about that?
You don't necessarily need to convert it to a USB port, because this thing comes with a couple of cables. And I'm just trying to remember, I think one of the cables... I'm trying to remember if it goes to FireWire or not, but it definitely goes to the conversion, the port that you would, it fits into certain iPhones, not all of them. You might have to get an adapter for the newer, older iPhones. I forget.
Yeah, because I won for free an Apple iPad.
Nice.
Well,
right, that's not a, yeah, but it's not a 2, it's not a 3, it's just an iPad.
Right.
Technically speaking, that's old. That's like the first generation of it, right?
Right.
But it did have the adapter. It's got a lightning connector to a USB. So I'm thinking I might be able to plug that microphone of yours into that. I just don't know if it's going to need any other drivers or anything.
It will be a lot easier.
But
it's a lot easier on the Apple because the Apples are set up in such a way that you can set these things up really quickly. Like the guy who recommended this microphone to me runs on a Macintosh system. He's got one of those desktop monitors. And it's really easy to set it up. I believe it's just plug it in. I mean, on a PC, you have to install all this software to get running. But once it runs, it's like really nice. So
yeah, because unfortunately at the time, I'm a lot like my mother. My mother was a penny pincher.
Yeah.
And so when I went looking, because at the beginning, I just needed a microphone to handle my soft phone that's on my computer. Right? So my computer handles all my inbound phone calls and my outgoing calls too. So I needed something other than a handheld phone to, talk out of.
Yeah.
So I bought this silly little Genius. It is an omnidirectional, so maybe that's where some of that background noise is coming from.
Yeah, it is.
But I tried putting paper and taping paper around it. No.
I had that problem with my other microphone.
But it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look
and
good.
And we're all learning here on how to prepare, right? Listen to this. So this is what I've gotten out of what you're two. Thank you for helping each other. This is awesome. So preparation includes...
Oh, thank you, Brian.
Preparation includes asking for information from experts. So what's an expert?
True.
Who is an expert? Who is an expert? Somebody who knows a heck of a lot more than I do. Somebody who is successfully using a tool or a product or providing a service that I want more information about. Doesn't have to be an expert in everything. Doesn't even have to call themselves an expert. I'm just seeing that they know. And they have a level of expertise that I don't, so they can guide me. And then what I'm also getting out of, as you two were talking, is that preparation includes technical things. Refining existing skills, honing your skills along the way to become an expert, learning new skills, new information, putting it to use, trial and error, learning from oops, that didn't work. Like Angie, that's what you were talking about, was that initially your phone system was perfect for what you needed it for. Try to use it for something else, it's not going to work.
Yeah, it can't cut it.
So all of this, though, is to me, this is all coming down to having an open mind so that you can recognize you are not prepared. Because if you can do that, then you can ask the questions, get the information, get the skills, get what you need so that you can prepare yourself for the success that you have envisioned up here. And the success I'm going to go back to is what you describe. It's not what I describe. I have my views of what a successful live workshop looks like, what a successful webinar looks like, what a successful interaction with a customer looks like, what the checkbook looks like with the efforts put forth, all the preparation and putting into action. There's a variety of things that I view as success. It's not just one single overarching, I am a success because I have this much money in the bank.
May I share this with you?
Of course.
My primary key to making me feel like I'm a success is how I feel inside. If I'm content, I'm happy, I feel accomplished, and I'm, it might sound a little, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the word is, but anyway, you might get the idea when I finish saying what I'm going to say. For me, it's really cool when I can go around my neighborhood and say, oh, look, there's Angie. Oh, I know her. It's like, really? Like, oh, gee, thanks, and they know what it is that I do. And I didn't put a penny out for that yet.
Yeah.
I'm just, again, old school. I'm taking advantage of whatever I can at little or no cost and just doing it, right? And it's been successful for me, but I also realized the limitation on that kind of skill and that use of the marketing for free stuff. Mm-hmm. And if I want to grow, I'm going to have to go beyond that. And that's when you made that comment about setting aside a certain percentage of what you bring in, dedicate that to marketing. Well, I've done that. So I know when I get to that point where I'm thinking, okay, I've exhausted all the freebies I can, now I'm going to dip into my little nest egg.
That's it.
And take that out and do it.
Start out. That is exactly the way that I guide somebody brand new to business to start out. If they can utilize, if they have the time to devote to using the free options, because you're paying with time, then begin that way. If you don't have the time and don't want to have the time, then go ahead and as soon as revenue starts coming in, you budget your because it's always percentages. Mm-hmm. You know, the bigger corporations say, well, we have a $50,000 a month marketing budget, you know, a $75,000 a month advertising budget. They can say that. There are millions of dollars in revenue. You know, if you're
sitting, get $50.
Exactly. If you're sitting at $15,000 is what you're going to be making this year because of who you are, what you do, whatever. You're sitting at $150,000. Doesn't matter on a smaller scale. Just take a percentage. Take 20% off the top, put it into the other account. And if that means you've got $20, you can do a lot on Facebook with $20.
Yeah,
that's true. And again,
some search engines for $20. There's
that applies to all business.
That is. You know, and that's why I speak in percentages. Especially with new to business people, is that don't get caught up that I got to spend money to make money, because that's limiting, right? Well, you just got paid. You just got a check for $1,200 or into your PayPal account. You just received $1,200. I don't care if it's from 10 different customers, but suddenly your balance in PayPal is $1,200. Normally, these people would drop it into their checking account and that'd be it. So what I say is you take 120 off the top, and that's just 10%. 240 is really what you should put. But if you want to start small, 120 to the side, now you actually have some money to spend on some marketing efforts. Do you need a logo? Yeah. Do you need business cards? Do you need, do you need better access? Do you need a mic? You know, a new microphone?
You need a pen?
Right.
Quick question, Shirley.
So that's the way I approach it in percentages. Pardon me?
Yeah. So you said 10%, and then you said it really should be 20. 20 in terms of saving?
Well, no, marketing.
No, 20. Yeah.
You want a minimum of 20. And then you have, but see, that's just marketing, because actually another piece, 20 to 30%, again, it depends on the business, what kind of revenue you have going in. But if you want numbers, you go 20% in a marketing budget, 20% in an operating budget. That's where the mic stuff comes in. That's where your part of your overhead comes in. Then you have the percentage of what you're going to pay yourself out of it. And then you have a percentage set aside for taxes.
Right.
Out of every piece of revenue that comes in. That way you don't have to worry about it. Boom, boom, boom. It becomes automatic. That, well, this how much, this much, this much. So what happens is that people see, well, I just made $50. I had, thanks, Gail. Have a great day, dear. I have, for instance, I have books that I've written on ebooks selling on Amazon. Mm-hmm. Out of nowhere, I get the monthly reminder that says, here's a sales report. They're selling. Oh, that's great. It might be $25. It might be $125. It doesn't matter, because out of that's revenue. Therefore, $2.50, $5 out of that 25, actually mine's 20%. $5 goes into the other account. If it's $50, $10 goes into the other account. The percentage stays the same. That's how you run your business.
Yeah. I like what you're talking about. I wish I'd realized or known these things years ago. I didn't.
Oh, me too. I'd have done it sooner.
Well, even if I'd known it, I might not have done it, because you know how laziness works.
Yes, I do, and that was my biggest problem. That's why today was about preparing yourself for success, because you can't be lazy. You can't be lazy, and you can't practice procrastination. See, those are my two foibles that just get me every time, both of those. And expect to be successful.
Yeah.
Those are things that I've learned about myself being in business. I never would have called myself either one of those when I'm working for somebody else. But even looking back, I realize that these are traits that have shortcomings that have really made themselves known in the 8 years I've been in business.
I mean, listening to you talk about the marketing, and like I didn't fully realize what happened last night. I mean, there were two things actually. I'd been putting out a request for work on different Facebook groups, and much to my surprise, it's been working. And I'm just waiting for a check from this one client who said she wants to start working with me. So once I get that, certainly I'm going to be putting some money towards marketing. But the other thing that happened, which was also a major windfall, and I didn't even think of it, because I'm a part of this group called Rich Mind, Rich Life. And we talk about manifesting a lot. And the leader of the organization that created this, he said to me, you know, you just manifested something great. You just manifested a place to stay as opposed to the money for it. And I was sitting here this morning thinking about the rent. And I'm in a really nice place, and I know what my friends are paying for this place. They're paying about $950 US a month for this place. So essentially, I've manifested a place worth almost $1,000 a month, and I don't have to pay for it. My job is to take care of the place, which is great, and it's relatively easy, and it's in a nice location. So all of these great things, right?
Can it get much better than that, Nathan? That's what I'm hearing. Are you hearing this, Angie? It's like, I don't think it can get much better than this. It's just...
But getting back to this thing about the marketing, I mean, the one thing that keeps coming up, and one of my colleagues offered it to me the other day, and I just realized, but I wasn't ready to take advantage of it. And now that this has happened, I realized, wait a second, a whole bunch of things that I was concerned about suddenly have dropped right off the radar, like having to move, having to find another place. I don't need to think about any of that right now. And all of these things that I really want to do, I can focus on them without any impediments at all. Right. I could just relax completely and sleep well and get things done. And so one of them has to do with Facebook marketing. And a lot of people I know have been talking about that. So in terms of what I'm doing, what I've been doing for many years is writing. And that's the thing I know the best. And that's where I can really produce consistent results for people. And then there's this new venture. And I'm thinking that even though I'm not thrilled with writing, I should probably put my dollars towards stuff to do with that, because that's what I'm best at right now. And then use the revenue from that to set aside money for the advertising and stuff that I need to launch my other venture. And I just wanted to get some feedback.
I'm going to recommend that you be more clear on naming every dollar, why it's going, where it's going.
Naming every dollar, what does that mean?
Yeah. This is my marketing dollar. This is my operating cost dollar. This is my overhead. This is my rent.
Yep.
This is rent. This is, you name every dollar. That way, you know where it's supposed to go.
Right.
So how you prepare for that is like any other strategy. You start with the top, the overarching. Let's list where all the money has to go to. Not that you have $10 coming in, $10 going out. You have $10 coming in, but $5 goes to marketing, $5 goes to the rent, $5 goes to food, $5 goes to whatever that looks like. You name every dollar. And you get that set up first, and that's how you prepare to be successful with the financial management. And I'm not completely successful in that, trust me. That's just, that it really isn't my forte. It's a simplified for non-financial person here, for me to be able to have funds I can go to so that I can go into marketing. So I can maintain my marketing, so that I can maintain my operations, because I have set costs associated with doing business. Therefore, I know what needs to happen. I know my minimum viable revenue level. Like we have minimum viable product.
Yeah. I got it.
Well, the same thing applies. Okay. I know my minimum viable revenue, and
may I add something when you're done there?
You can, but I do have to close down the recording. So
yeah,
right.
Do you want to be on?
The only thing I want, I do, because I think that relates to what you just said.
Okay.
Somebody in the group in the chat did say like the envelope method. The only thing, and I agree with that. Agree with everything that you said, Charlene. But I would also advise that, say for your example of the $10. Say you earned your $10, and you're gonna set aside and name your dollars for whatever purpose you need. However, I think what those purposes are, such your fixed expenditures, they have to be prioritized.
Of course.
For example, you don't want to just throw $5 into advertising, $5 into marketing. Oop, rent. Oh shit, got no more $5 because you only had 10. So you have to prioritize that.
That's why you name them, but you work in percentages.
True. Yes, you could do that too.
That's why I was.
That way you can give it all out evenly.
Right.
But there are sometimes I still think you need that priority to make sure, even if you screw up the math, at least you put it in the proper hole.
That's it exactly. Beautifully said. All right, so I'm going to close down the recording portion.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, dear, for being here. I will keep the room open for a while, so please stay for continued discussion. Nathan, Angie, Gail, you're out there. I know you've gone away. Thank you for being in the live stream. Some terrific discussion happening about how do you prepare for success? What does it look like? And I think we covered some really interesting ways of what it looks like to prepare. That it isn't all about mental or emotional or physical. It is a combination of all, with skills, with knowledge, identifying lack of, and getting to work. Right? Getting it into action. So thank you for those in the comment section for adding to the conversation as well. And for those watching the replay, thanks for hanging with us. This is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Let's move forward with the day on purpose, with purpose, to grow our hearts, grow our minds, and grow our businesses. Until next time,